So I came into today's workout feeling fairly anxious. I was worried that taking this rest and deload, like people suggested in my last video, wouldn't help. I was worried that the same thing would happen, my performance wouldn't change, and I've just dug myself an even deeper hole where I'm confused, I don't know what to do, and I'm struggling with the general process. However, it turns out that the most basic notion of recovery has come to my favor, and that really was the problem for my past week of training. I was overtraining, or at least I had sufficient training, but I needed to give my body some rest in order for me to come back stronger. Now, while I wouldn't say this session was a highlight or a very strong session, it was a workout that remained consistent with my average strength. My straddle plunge holds were consistent, and it was a hold that I was used to. It wasn't one of those very weak attempts that my past week was just that I was struggling with. I felt okay, and it felt good. So the reason why I was also worried was when I was doing my warm up, I felt fairly uncomfortable. I was unsure. I didn't feel right. My joints felt a bit tweaky. And I was like, my muscles don't feel the best. I'm not sure if I can truly load them up to their max potential, especially with these static holds that demand so much of a neurological load. However, again, when I went in, I put on my wrist wraps and I did my workout, I felt good. And that was only the static portion of my workout. When I consider my dynamics and my bent arm work, it felt strong. And one thing that Mantis Calisthenics told me was, you need to look at your working sets and not just tunnel vision yourself to the static hold portion of your workout and see that as your own sense of progression. Reason being is because the static portion is your max potential, it's your max performance, and that's only 10% of your workout. The rest is where you actually get the strength. So whether it be those the planche leans and the pseudo planche push-ups, those are where you really want to be seeing some improvement and gaining some progression, because most of the time I've been dismissing those those increase in reps, increase in the quality of my form and stuff, mainly because my holds didn't feel the best, and I was too frustrated, and it really did blur everything else because I was just so anxious about why my holds weren't doing all the best while my working sets felt fine. In this session, I decided to actually use resistance bands for my planche leans and my planche push-ups, my pseudo planche push-ups, because I feel like I've been lacking the strength in my scapular protraction. I do realize that I may be putting an overemphasis or an exaggerated effort into this protraction, but I still feel like that's something that's been lacking in my holds and just in general the integrity of my planche overall. And I did want to say these planche leans felt really hard with these resistance bands. My lean is probably decreased by half, while the load still felt immense on my shoulders. For the pseudo planche push-ups, it was a bit different because you lose the tension of the resistance bands as you go down the eccentric. However, once you go back up, you maintain that tension. So the main focus again was just the protraction. And I find the use of resistance bands fairly interesting. It's a tool that I'm using for progressive overload because I feel like these planche leans, while I am leaning a lot more, I feel like sometimes I'm leaning a bit too much. And because of this, I want to find a new way of reducing that the lean, while ensuring the load to maximize progressive overload. I've been thinking about using weights and other a weight vest, but I don't really have those equipment with me right now. But so far, the resistance bands feels good. It feels very hard on the protraction of my scapula, which I consider the biggest inhibitor of my straddle planche as of now. While there is the overall strength that's demanded for my shoulders that I need to just improve over time with, I feel like that's becoming stronger over time. My protraction, however, has been nagging about. It's been lagging a bit because I haven't put too much emphasis on it. I kind of thought that if I just keep it throughout my exercise and just ensure that my back is protracted, then it should be good. But maybe it's like that underlying small factor that I need to put more focus on in order for the overall planche to improve. So that's a new thing to think about. And yeah.